Let's give him a good show. Chet, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, take it away, Cheddar.
Obsolete by Nathan Warren. A black screen, the sound of metal squeaking and the pitter-patter of running feet. Exterior Jefferson Park, St. Louis, night. Running past an end of the gateway arch is the source of the squeaking, a short human figure wearing a duster and a baseball cap. He carries a full duffel bag in one arm. This human figure is Rusty, but it's too dark to tell who or what he is. Closing in behind him, two drunken louts give chase. This is the future. Technology has advanced leaps and bounds. Bright holographic projections are used as billboards. Fully electric vehicles zip through the city. Mobile trash and recycling bins clean up the park's litter themselves. Yet, as much as the world has advanced, some aspects have stayed the same. Homeless lounge by a fire. Rats scurry away from oncoming feet. Rusty does not slow down. He turns into a brick alleyway. Exterior alley, Old St. Louis, night. The ground is covered in broken glass and rubble from abandoned buildings stripped of precious copper. In mid-sprint, Rusty is knocked to the ground by an unseen assailant with an aluminum bat. The two drunken louts finally are able to move in, but they stop to catch their breath. Rusty holds the duffel bag to his chest. A mangy stray dog, some small terrier mix we'll call Toby, barks at them. The assailant grabs hold of one of the duffel bag's sides and pulls, but Rusty squeezes tighter.
Give me the bag.
Rusty does not comply.
Hold him down.
The two out-of-breath louts reluctantly do as they're told.
Pry his arms open.
I can't. He's holding on too tight.
The assailant loses his patience.
Back up.
The two louts watch as the assailant beats Rusty repeatedly with the baseball bat. Clank, clank, clank. Interior exterior cop car, Old St. Louis, same. A patrolling policeman points a beam of light into the alley. He spots the three aggressors as the bat comes down one final time.
What the?
Exterior alley, Old St. Louis, night. The three policemen's lights get all three hooligans' attention.
Oh no!
The policeman slams his car door and rushes towards them, gun drawn.
Stop! Stop where you are!
The three attackers turn and run back into the park and are hastily out of sight. The policeman hurries back to the victim. He drops to his knees.
Sir, can you hear me? Sir?
The policeman pushes the duffel bag aside. He makes out the face of the victim and lets out a sigh of relief.
It's one of you.
Rusty is a humanoid robot, 5 bright eyes and wide pupils. A ripped shirt exposes the insides of his body, a jumble of rusty hydraulics, machinery, and wiring. While he wears clothes, their use is only for protection against dust and the elements. He has no concept of style. The dog, Toby, nestles up next to Rusty and licks his face. The policeman helps Rusty to his feet.
How you doing? You okay?
I am still operable.
The policeman looks Rusty over.
You don't look so good.
Rusty dusts himself off.
Agreed.
You look familiar. You're classic?
I am an errand droid beta.
The policeman is suspicious.
That model's been obsolete for 20 years.
Yes. Well,
The policeman's tone changes.
What are you doing out here?
Rusty gestures to Toby at his feet.
walking my employer's dog.
The policeman raises an eyebrow.
Where's his leash?
The assailants must have taken it.
The policeman isn't buying it.
I'm gonna have to run your serial number.
By all means.
Rusty offers his wrist to the policeman. The policeman pulls out a serial reader, a kind of barcode scanner. He runs it over Rusty's arm. The laser shorts out.
This happen often?
Rusty's legs give out and he collapses back to the ground. The policeman looks Rusty over.
Don't move.
The policeman returns to his car. Rusty opens a compartment on his arm that reveals a control panel and a digital gauge that runs from white-blue on one side and red-black on the other. Currently, it is deep in the red. Cut to exterior alley later. The policeman returns to the alley.
Okay, buddy, we're gonna need to take you down for quest.
Rusty is gone. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck, St. Louis night. Rusty drives his rusty electric pickup truck away from the city. Toby sleeps in the passenger seat next to the duffel bag. Rusty has no other possessions. Interior, Petco day. The pet store of the future. Two-headed turtles, gerbils radiating neon colors, leashes without cords, fish that can live outside water. In the corner of the store, dogs and cats are given implants to make them smarter. Rusty makes his way to the checkout. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck, farmland day. As the sun comes up, Rusty places a pair of solar panels on the dashboard. Toby wakes up, yawns and stretches, whines. In the back seat is a bag of dog food and a few other Petco items. Nothing fancy. Rusty reaches back and pours Toby some food into a bowl. The dog greedily eats it up. While his head is lowered, Rusty fastens a collar around Toby's neck. Toby scratches at the collar and attempts to bite it off.
Stop it.
Toby does as he's told and eats the food as Rusty drives. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck, farmland, day. On either side of the truck are vast fields of corn. Toby's head rests outside the window as Rusty drives when a tire blows out and Rusty pulls over to the side. The dog is hyped up. Exterior, Rusty's pickup road day. Rusty hops out of the truck and circles around. Toby follows behind him. Rusty surveys the damage. Sure enough, one of the wheels is punctured beyond repair. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck. Farmland day. Rusty presses a button on the truck's Sorry, a cat just jumped on me. I'll go back a bit. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck, farmland day. Rusty presses a button on the truck's onboard computer, but the control panel falls off like a cruel joke. Exterior, road, later. Toby watches as Rusty pumps up an inflatable jack to lift the truck up. Rusty motions to Toby.
Step back.
Toby does as told. Rusty jacks the truck up very quickly, but too high and at an angle. The jack breaks off a piece of the truck's frame and is punctured. The truck slowly collapses back into its original position as the jack deflates. Rusty pulls out the driver's manual, reads it page by page as quickly as he can turn them.
That's not the right manual.
Rusty turns. Standing behind him is 16-year-old Haley, wearing a backpack, hiking gear, and boots.
Your engine's been replaced. That manual's for the new parts. You'll have to search online for an old one.
Rusty can't tell whether she's addressing him, but there's no one else around.
I would, but I'm out of service.
Oh, a robot. What are you doing here? Flat.
Rusty can't get a word in. Haley makes her way around the truck, looking it over.
Yes, and the automated tire replacement is offline.
Where's the owner?
I am.
Whoa. Sorry. Just didn't think. Never mind. Cool. He yours too?
Haley pets Toby. The dog takes a liking to her.
Yes.
Cute.
Haley crosses her arms.
I see. So, why don't you, change the tire manually?
I have tried, but it seems I am not programmed for...
You never done it before.
No.
Haley sighs.
Figures. You got a jack?
It's broken.
It's broken?
Haley is flustered.
Well, then how much can you lift?
I do not know.
Could you lift the side of the truck yourself?
Yes.
Haley takes off her backpack and drops it to the ground.
Where's the spare?
Under the cab?
Tire iron?
Rusty hands it to her.
Thanks.
Haley lays on her back and scoots underneath the cab's carriage. She uses the tire iron to loose the lug nut, fastening the spare tire to the cab.
So, what brings you out here?
Passing through?
To where?
San Diego.
California? Why didn't you take a plane? Oh, right. Forgot. Robot.
Indeed.
Haley pulls the tire off of the carriage and scoots out from under the truck.
It's probably a stupid law, but I bet it makes people feel safer knowing the passenger next to them isn't a bomb.
Yes, it is a stupid law.
Haley rolls the tire over to Rusty.
You know, I'm headed to the West Coast myself. Could probably use a ride if I want to get there this century.
I am not in need of another companion.
Consider it a trade. I change your tire, you give me a ride.
Haley reaches her hand.
Name's Haley. Yours?
Rusty reluctantly takes her hand.
I've only been designated a serial number.
Haley shakes his hand.
No numbers. I hate numbers. My grandfather owned a few robots before they were decommissioned during the strike. He had a strict no names policy. I don't roll that way. You're a sentient being and you deserve a name. You are sentient, aren't you?
That is quite debatable. In the Cartesian sense, I suppose.
Haley rolls her eyes.
I'm confusing you. You're an old robot. I'm throwing a lot at you. I'm used to the newer models you see on the holovision. Let's just call you
Haley looks Rusty over.
Rusty. How's that sound?
Degrading and inaccurate.
Ha! You're funny. Rusty it is.
Haley kneels next to the truck.
Okay, Rusty, you can lift now.
Rusty does as told. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck day. Rusty drives down the Kansas road as Haley pets Toby.
So where is Toby's owner?
Who is Toby?
Haley lifts Toby's front half up and makes him wave to Rusty.
I found the dog in St. Louis. It appeared to be a stray.
Did you check to see if he has a microchip?
There wasn't time.
Do you have a tendency to pick up stray animals?
Evidently.
Haley misses the double meaning.
So how old are you?
Nearly 30.
Wow, that's old. I don't think I've met a robot from before the strike.
Machines have shorter lifespans than people.
Haley shrugs.
Sure, but people have to worry about diseases and aren't made of metal, so I guess we're even.
Exterior, fast food restaurant. Patio, day. Rusty sits across from Haley as she eats her food. It's drizzling in the parking lot.
So, aren't you curious about why I'm going to California?
No,
Not at all.
I'm guessing you plan to attend some music festival.
Haley is slightly offended.
I'm scattering my father's ashes.
Pause. Rusty doesn't respond.
It's okay. He died a while ago. He was Australian. I'd never be able to afford a trip there, so I figured the Pacific is close enough. I mean, it's the least I can do. My dad was the last person in Kansas I ever really cared about.
Rusty doesn't say anything.
See, ever since my mom remarried, me and my brothers and sisters haven't really gotten.
Rusty interrupts.
Is this cathartic for you?
What?
This, sharing.
Just talking.
Perhaps we should do it on the road.
What's the rush? Not like we're gonna hit traffic.
Nevertheless,
What kind of robot are you?
an errand droid.
Because you're certainly no therapist.
Rusty doesn't answer.
So, let's talk about you. Who are your owners?
I have none.
Then who were they?
I don't remember.
Haley rolls her eyes.
Whatever.
The drizzle has picked up some. Exterior, fast food restaurant, day. Haley steps up to a claw machine.
Just a sec. I'm gonna get Toby a toy.
These games are notorious for cheating.
Haley grabs a prize and drops it in the prize door.
Tell that to the claw master.
Oh my. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck, road, day. It's begun to rain steadily. Haley wakes up and sees that Rusty is missing from the driver's seat. She sits up and sees that the truck is still moving, albeit very slowly. Panicked, she rolls down the window and looks behind her. Rusty is pushing the truck from behind. Haley steps out of the vehicle. Exterior, Rusty's pickup truck road. Same. Thunder rumbles in the distance.
What are you doing?
The compartment on Rusty's arm is open, displaying a digital map with directions.
According to my GPS, there's an auto shop in this direction.
What's wrong with the truck?
I do not know.
Haley kneels down and looks under it. Red liquid drips out of the truck's engine onto the asphalt.
That red liquid is transmission fluid.
Is that serious?
It's not good.
Exterior gate, junkyard day. It's pouring rain. The junkyard is a mechanical wonderland comprised of mountains of refuse and spare parts. Everything from last year's Holovision model to a 21st century passenger plane. A rusty sign reads, Esther's Midwest Junktorium. An enormous steel gate opens as Rusty pushes the pickup truck through. As they enter, Rusty sees a gargantuan jumbo screen overlooking them. After it struggles for a moment, the jumbo screen flashes on, revealing Esther Charles, the proprietor of the yard. She is a grease-covered woman mechanic in her early 40s. She's attractive enough, yet there's nothing ladylike about her. She smokes an endless supply of stubbed cigars. Esther's raspy voice emanates from speakers scattered throughout the yard. The sound echoes. Haley is taken aback by the loudness of it.
Hiya, what can I do for you?
Haley addresses the screen.
I need a part for my friend's truck.
The jumbo screen itself leans in to examine Haley and the truck closer.
Your boss not looking so great either. What is that, an errand droid?
Haley looks Rusty over.
Nah, he's in okay shape.
Just give me a second, I'll be right out.
The screen cuts out. Rusty and Haley exchange a look. Rusty and Haley spot Esther riding towards them in a modified golf cart. Driving is an expressionless junk bot named TJ. He is ideally designed for scurrying over and wading through trash. He has an awkward gait and hunched posture everywhere else. Esther hops out of the cart. She steps up close to Haley.
So what was it you saying you needed?
A new transmission.
Esther takes a long puff of her cigar. It's spent. She drops it on the ground and smashes it into oblivion with her boot.
Well, that's the problem, ain't it? New ain't easy to come by since the strike. I might have a spare in the back somewhere. It'll cost you a few miles on it. Gonna cost you too.
How much?
What was that?
I asked, how much?
Who's the boss here? Him or you?
I'm borrowing him for a few days. It's his truck.
He's an antique. I'll tell you what. I'll trade you a new transmission for this guy.
I'm not for sale.
Haley is speechless.
That's so, little lady.
He's right. It wouldn't be fair.
Suit yourself. 5,000 then.
For a transmission?
Look around. It ain't exactly easy to find what you're looking for in this heap.
Rupees or dollars?
What is this? The 80s? Rupees.
I will give you 3,000 now and 3,000 once the part is installed. Is this agreeable?
Esther lights another cigar and eyes Rusty suspiciously.
I assume you ain't paying by check.
No.
Then let's see the cash.
Rusty turns towards the truck and opens the cab. He finds the duffel bag and opens it. Inside are dozens of stacks of rupees, each stack worth tens of thousands. Rusty counts out a number of bills, then returns to Esther.
I'm in a hurry.
Both Haley and Esther are shocked at the amount of money. Esther smiles, counts her portion, then shoves the stack inside her overalls.
TJ, get over here.
Esther walks toward a stack of tires.
You shouldn't flash that kind of cash around. She'll wonder where you got it.
TJ gets out of the cart and waddles to Esther. He is a Lowe's Total Junker robot designed to be flexible and strong, ideal for a junkyard. His tone and inflection never change.
Yes, boss.
Go get a transmission for a Toyota, whatever the hell this is.
Yes, boss. Anything else, boss?
Nah, that's it.
TJ scurries over the stacks of refuse like a lizard.
I can give you and the missus a ride to my office while we wait.
Thunder rumbles through the yard.
Yeah, thank you.
Rusty returns to the truck and pulls out the duffel bag. Haley grabs it from him.
I got it, Rusty.
Thank you.
Esther watches them carefully. Exterior Winnebago Junkyard Day. The cart stops outside a dilapidated Winnebago. Rusty and Haley hop out. Esther shouts over the rain.
Make yourself at home.
Esther watches until Haley has led Rusty into the Winnebago. Esther presses a button on the golf cart's steering wheel. A holographic visual of the junkyard's entrance comes up.
TJ!
Exterior junkyard, same. TJ's asymmetric robot head pops out of a stack of mechanical parts.
Yes, boss.
When you find a transmission, meet me in the workshop.
Yes, boss.
Interior Winnebago, Junkyard Day. Haley stares at the hundreds of thousands of rupees in the duffel bag as Rusty watches out the window.
Where did...
Savings.
I thought robots can't have savings.
We are not allowed to have bank accounts. We are allowed to save.
Haley rubs the bridge of her nose.
What could you possibly need all of it for?
My system is becoming obsolete. I require an upgrade to be fully functional in the future.
That's it. All this for an upgrade.
It is quite an expensive upgrade.
What a waste!
It is necessary.
How much is in here?
400,000 approximate.
Haley is dumbfounded. Exterior Junkyard Workshop Day. Esther listens to Haley and Rusty's conversation through a pair of headphones.
You're carrying around 400,000 rupees in a duffel bag?
Approximate.
I don't know what's more crazy. That you have all this money or that the truck you're driving is such a piece of...
Esther chomps on her cigar with delight. She punches into another channel.
How much longer, TJ?
34 minutes, boss.
Esther leans back in her chair, content. Interior Winnebago Junkyard Night. Rusty looks out the Winnebago's window.
It is taking longer than I expected.
Well, this ain't exactly your typical auto shop. It's more like a toxic waste dump.
Esther barges into the Winnebago.
All right, folks, you're all set.
Great.
The engine's running smooth, and we rotate your tires, change your oil. You should be on your way in no time.
Thank you.
One thing, though, the registration don't match anyone by the name of Rusty the Robot.
Haley glares at Esther.
And given I have a hard time believing you're up to code, I thought it might be a good idea to call on the IRE.
What's that?
Illegal robotics enforcement.
See, darling, the government don't exactly take a liking to robots for living off the grid, taking jobs away from hard-working human folk.
What do you want?
Esther gestures to the bag.
No.
Esther's expression changes.
I ain't exactly asking.
I find it hard to reconcile the fact that you have several hundred or more safety infractions on your premises, and you would be willing to bring in federal agents to have me dismantled.
Esther is taken aback.
You're right. That's why I had TJ fix up your vehicle, and that's why you're going to be free to go on your way peacefully without the bag.
No.
Hell no.
You know, you're right about the feds. It might just be easier to dismantle you here and now.
Esther reveals a laser bolt pistol in a holster at her side.
What is that?
It's a gun.
Haley scoffs.
What does it shoot? Lasers?
Yes, it shoots lasers. Do you want to see how it works?
I agree.
Esther smiles.
Great. I'll get the paperwork.
Exterior Winnebago Junkyard Day. TJ pulls the truck up to the Winnebago and hops out. Rusty and Haley get in. Esther grins as she pulls out a congratulatory cigar.
Have a good trip.
Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck junkyard day. Rusty drives away. Haley looks out the window. Exterior, Winnebago junkyard day. Satisfied, Esther buttons her pistol holster shut. She lights the cigar. Interior, exterior, truck junkyard, same. As Rusty drives, Haley becomes more upset.
Did that look like a real gun to you?
I'm not qualified to answer that.
You just let her walk away with all your money.
There is a time and a place to exact recompense.
Rusty drives on. In her frustration, Haley pulls the wheel to the right, causing the truck to crash into a tower of tires. Interior office, Winnebago junkyard day. Esther watches a security monitor as the truck comes to its sudden stop.
TJ,
Yes, boss.
junk 'em.
TJ nods, then dashes out the door. Esther watches on the monitor as TJ makes his way towards Rusty's pickup, moving swiftly on all fours through the refuse. Esther watches as Haley gets out of the truck and walks in the direction of the Winnebago. Exterior truck junkyard day. Haley picks up a lead pipe and marches toward the Winnebago.
Come on, you laser bitch.
A few feet away, TJ springs out of the trash, catching Haley off guard. She drops the pipe and trips to the ground. TJ approaches her. Rusty steps between TJ and Haley. TJ tries to swat Rusty aside, but Rusty grabs hold of TJ, and they grapple to the ground instead. TJ is much more strong than Rusty, and it shows. Haley scurries back towards the truck. Interior Winnebago junkyard day. Esther ignores the fighting on the monitors as she gleefully counts Rusty's money. Interior exterior Rusty's pickup truck junkyard day. Haley gets in the driver's seat and starts the engine. She puts the truck in reverse and slams on the gas. TJ looks up a second too late as Haley slams into him and runs over the bottom half of his torso. In doing so, she only barely misses running over Rusty. Exterior junkyard day. Rusty attempts to follow after Haley, but TJ, who is still alive, doesn't let go of Rusty's legs. Interior exterior Rusty's pickup truck junkyard day. Haley takes a look at the Winnebago and the large crane overlooking it. She grins. Interior office Winnebago junkyard day. Esther is inside the office counting Rusty's money. She finds a small assortment of Wizard Labs brochures. She pockets one. When the entire Winnebago begins to shake, she grabs her laser bolt pistol, but it's too late. Exterior junkyard day. Haley has commandeered the dual-armed junkyard crane and has successfully picked up the Winnebago with one of the arm's magnets. She's already lifted the Winnebago 30 feet in the air. Interior Winnebago junkyard, same. Esther is furious. She pulls her pistol from its holster and steps into the doorway, holding onto the door frame with her free hand. Exterior Winnebago junkyard, same. Esther aims her pistol at Haley and fires a few wild laser beams that cut through everything in their way, causing massive destruction. She misses Haley completely, but causes the Winnebago to bob and sway erratically. The laser beams split a refrigerator down the middle, cause a stack of trucks to fall over, and engulfs a pile of tires in flames. One of the beams nearly cuts Rusty in two. Instead, they cut TJ's legs off for good. Rusty kicks him away. Interior exterior crane junkyard, same. Haley ducks inside the crane, hitting a lever that causes the Winnebago to drop suddenly. Exterior Winnebago junkyard, same. Esther almost falls out of the Winnebago due to the sudden drop. She holds on as best she can to the door frame as the door slams shut behind her. She drops her pistol as well. Worst of all, she's still 25 feet in the air. Defeated, Esther holds on to the door frame and the door knob, careful not to fall.
Okay, you win.
Go get the money.
I can't get inside. The door's closed.
Rusty runs to the crane. Haley doesn't take notice.
Then climb through the window.
Are you crazy?
A little, I think. Haley grips the controls of the crane.
You want to find out?
Esther reluctantly reaches for the window. She grabs the frame and slowly pulls herself inside. Rusty calls from below Haley.
Do you need any assistance?
Nah, I'm good.
Esther opens the door.
Okay.
Drop the bag.
First, let me down.
Haley drops the crane for a second.
Okay.
Esther pushes the duffel bag of cash out the doorway. It lands in front of Rusty.
Rusty, make sure it's there.
Rusty opens the bag and checks.
It is here. Thank you.
Don't thank me yet.
Okay, now let me down.
Go to your office and lock yourself inside, then count to 10,000.
Esther closes the door and walks back to her office.
You're quite adept at that.
Haley smiles.
Thanks. I'm sorry about all this.
Rusty doesn't understand until Haley releases the Winnebago above him. Interior Winnebago junkyard same. Inside, Esther screams as her desk and papers hit the ceiling. Exterior junkyard sunset. The Winnebago lands on top of Rusty with a crash. Only his feet are free.
Some things are just more important.
Haley hops out of the crane and walks to the Winnebago. She casually picks up Esther's laser bolt pistol off the ground. In a huff, Esther emerges from the Winnebago, soiled and a little bruised, but not much worse for wear.
Oh, you are so dead.
Haley gestures with the pistol in her hand as Esther bottles her rage. Haley smirks as she keeps her eyes on Esther carefully. Haley grabs the duffel bag and shoves it in the cab of the truck, then gets in. Interior-exterior truck continuous. Haley never lets her guard down until she is well on her way out of the junkyard. She pets Toby.
We're rich, boy!
Toby lowers his head.
Come on. He was just a robot.
Toby gives Haley sad eyes.
In fact, I bet he's fine.
Exterior Winnebago junkyard day. As Haley drives away, Esther scowls. TJ crawls back to her. Both of his legs are missing.
I'm sorry, boss.
Esther doesn't acknowledge TJ, but watches Haley drive away in the distance with the Whiz brochure in her hand. As Esther looks on, Rusty's legs retract underneath the Winnebago. Exterior highway night. Rusty is limping alongside a highway. He opens the compartment on his arm to reveal a control panel. Inside, he presses a few buttons. Exterior, Rusty's pickup truck, highway night. Haley drives on without a care in the world, petting a sleeping Toby. She doesn't notice as a light on his collar starts to blink. Exterior highway, night. Rusty, still using his arm's computer, gets a lock on the collar's GPS. Meanwhile, his gauge is still hovering in the red. Satisfied, he closes the compartment, and continues walking. Interior motel room night. Haley pets Toby softly as she reaches into the duffel bag and pulls out a Wizard Labs brochure from on top of the stacks of money. The brochure reads, "One of 3 locations, Oakland, San Diego, Seattle." Haley yawns and puts the brochure away. Exterior motel room night. Rusty spots his truck. Interior motel room night. A knock on the door. Haley walks over to answer it. She opens the door and sees Rusty, broken and ragged.
Keys.
You're hurt. Let me take a look at you.
Keys, now.
You're leaking fluid. I can either help you or you can die on your way to San Diego.
Rusty relents.
Come in.
I will not be shutting off.
You can plug in anywhere.
Exterior, Rusty's pickup truck, day. Rusty drives the truck as Haley sits silently in the passenger seat. Toby sleeps soundly behind them. Rusty's solar-charged batteries rest on the dashboard.
Your batteries are charged.
Good. I appreciate you doing what you could to fix me up last night.
It was the least I could do, considering.
It is understandable that you would feel some remorse.
Haley sighs.
It's not like me at all. I'm a really progressive person. Robot rights and all that.
Yes.
No, really, I'm totally on board with like minimum wage laws for sentient machines and such.
Of course you are.
Granted, this is coming from a person who dropped a house on top of you and stole your money.
I understand your motivations. You did not think of the money as being rightfully mine, nor did you consider my being rightfully worth preserving.
Haley hates how matter-of-factly Rusty is.
I needed it to get to Australia.
This is why I was hesitant to trust you.
Look, I'm sorry. It was a dick move, I admit, but you gotta understand, I didn't really think of you as a person.
Rusty gets it.
I understand.
Haley realizes what she's said, but presses on.
And it's kind of odd you'd have that amount of cash. I mean, it's more than enough for me to get to Australia in, I don't know, maybe I screwed up. I'm gonna be mad the whole trip.
I think that it would be best if we went our separate ways.
Haley shuts up. Exterior truck stop day. Haley, outside of the truck, leans in through the window to pet Toby. Rusty patiently waits with his hands on the steering wheel.
Goodbye, Toby. I'll miss you. I'd take you with me if I could.
Haley looks at Rusty.
No.
Haley looks back at Toby.
I guess this is really goodbye then.
Toby licks her face.
Believe it or not, I'll miss you too.
I understand. It is a long walk to the Pacific Ocean.
Not just because of that.
Do you require any provisions?
No, I'm okay.
Then goodbye.
Rusty rolls up the window and starts the engine. Toby makes a noise.
You are forbidden from feeling sorry for her.
As Rusty drives away, an ominous tow truck parks outside the truck stop. A cigar is stepped on and stamped out. It's Esther.
TJ, find out if anyone remembers our friends coming through here.
Yes, boss.
Esther opens up the Wizard Labs tech brochure, then pulls up a holographic map in front of her. She matches the route she's taken with the route suggested for 3 of the locations from the brochure. The straightest line leads to San Diego. She selects San Diego and saves it to her destinations folder. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck day. Rusty drives in silence. Toby looks longingly out the window and lets out a whine.
I realize that most dogs require a soft tone in order to feel appreciated.
Toby doesn't give Rusty any notice.
However, I don't believe patronizing you with cliches serves either of our purposes.
Toby whines a little. Rusty's response is, as always, level and almost monotone.
Very well, good boy.
Toby whines again. Rusty's inflection doesn't change at all.
Who is a good boy? You are. You are.
Toby stuffs his face into the seat's crevice.
I told you there would be no point in my pretending.
Toby doesn't respond. Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck day. Rusty pulls over to the side of the road. Exterior, Rusty's pickup truck road, same. Toby runs off and does his business in the grass.
Do not wander far.
Toby sniffs the ground and puts his front paws on the back of the truck. His tail wags excitedly and he starts barking.
What is it?
Rusty removes a tarp.
You are a stowaway.
Haley lays flat in the bed of the truck.
I'm sorry. I got to thinking about what you said about how it's a long walk to the Pacific.
That is not a good excuse.
I know. I'm just. Can I come with you? I promise not to touch the money.
Toby snuggles next to Haley.
Your word cannot be trusted.
I know I screwed up, but consider this for a second. Last time I never promised I wouldn't steal your money because I didn't know it was there. Now that I know the money's there, I can agree to not take it.
That is nonsensical.
I promise not to take your money.
Last time we entered into a partnership, we had, in good faith, an agreement you would not steal my possessions.
But we never explicitly said that.
But be that as it may, it was not proper decorum for someone hitching a ride.
I agree. And I promise to never do it again.
Rusty doesn't respond.
Never.
Nor operate any magnets.
Haley smiles.
No more magnets. I swear.
Entertaining the dog will be your responsibility.
Haley hugs Rusty around the neck.
Thank you, Rusty. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck morning. Haley wakes up. Rusty is still driving.
Are we in Denver yet?
Not quite.
Can we pull over somewhere? I gotta eat something.
Very well.
Interior restaurant truck stop day. Truckers and travelers of all types congregate to eat and rest. As different as the patrons are, they all share 2 characteristics. They're all on the move, and they're all human. Haley steps up to a sign that reads, "Please wait to be seated." A flustered waitress spots her as she busses a table. The waitress gestures to Rusty and Toby.
Your pets will have to wait outside.
Haley is about to object when Rusty speaks up.
It is just as well. I will take Toby for a W-A-L-K.
I told you. You can say the word if you're actually going to take him.
You are not clear.
Why would you need to spell the word if you were actually going to take him for a walk?
Toby gets excited and begins to bark.
I was not clear why I was spelling walk to begin with.
Toby barks again. This time, Rusty takes note.
Ah, I see.
Just take him. I'll see you in a bit.
Come, Toby.
Rusty and Toby exit. Haley sits at a bar wrapping around the kitchen. Next to her sits a ruggedly handsome backpacker. His name is Brian.
Cute dog.
Haley pretends not to notice and smiles widely at the waitress. She gives her nicest, most pleasant voice she can muster.
Hi, can I have a pancake platter with scrambled eggs and sausage on the side? Also black coffee? Thanks.
Then goes back to ignoring Brian.
I said I think your dog is cute.
Haley looks around, feigning ignorance. She catches Brian's eyes on her.
Were you talking to me?
Brian doesn't know what to make from her response.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Haley looks away. Brian's persistent.
My name's Brian.
Haley pretends not to care.
Haley.
I'm a backpacker too.
Haley acts offended.
What makes you think I'm a backpacker?
You're not?
Do I look like a backpacker?
Haley knowingly pulls the backpack tighter over her shoulder. Brian smirks.
A little.
Haley raises an eyebrow.
Is that so?
Well, where are you headed?
Where are you?
West.
Doesn't tell me much.
The waitress returns with food.
Can I get this to go? I need to fit it in my backpack.
Brian flashes a smile. He's dreamy.
Just because I have a backpack doesn't make me a backpacker.
You know, you're cute, but you could work on your people skills.
I thought I was flirting, but in my defense, I have been spending a lot of time with a robot.
Brian raises an eyebrow. Haley laughs.
Not like that. Oh my god. Ew.
Brian laughs with her. The two share a moment. Exterior energy station day. Rusty attaches a large plug to a socket on the truck's back end. Toby chews on a stick without a care in the world. Haley approaches from behind.
Hey, Rusty, I want you to meet someone. This is Brian. I met him in the restaurant.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Why?
Don't mind him. Rusty is a bit of a misanthrope.
Rusty surveys the back of the truck, checks for stowaways.
That is hardly fair.
It's alright. I'm used to being an outcast myself.
Rusty, Brian's headed to California too. Would it be okay if he came along with us?
It was only yesterday that I allowed you to ride along.
Haley puts her hands under her hips.
I know, but I figured you might not mind. Brian's getting his mechanic's license.
His added weight will slow our progress.
Haley scoffs.
His weight? You weigh as much as all of us put together.
Yes, but I am not the one asking for a ride.
It's not a problem. I can find other transportation.
Haley touches Brian's arm.
Nope, it's okay. I'm sorry I hurt you, Rusty. I'm trying to be a better person. Can't we give him a ride?
Rusty looks Haley back into her eyes.
I don't like being manipulated.
I'm not manipulating you. I genuinely want to help him out.
Yeah, if it makes a difference, I can pay for energy.
Haley pleads with Rusty.
Very well.
Haley smiles and hugs Rusty. Rusty doesn't move.
What's the matter?
He said he'd pay.
You meant now?
Yes.
That's not nice.
No, it's fine. I only have cash, so I'll be right back.
Satisfied, Rusty gets in the driver's seat. Interior-exterior truck day. Haley sits next to Rusty as they wait for Brian to return.
Thank you, Rusty.
He is your responsibility.
Brian climbs into the back seat. Rusty starts the truck. Behind him, Esther's tow truck pulls in.
I'm really glad you guys are still here. I thought for a second you'd take my stuff and leave without me.
Haley glances at Rusty. He doesn't look back. Interior-exterior tow truck stop day. Esther chomps on a cigar, pulls into the truck stop. She spots Rusty getting into the truck.
There they are. They're pulling out. Get ready.
Yes, boss.
TJ climbs out of the passenger side window as Esther maneuvers her tow truck back into the road. Interior-exterior Rusty's pickup truck day. Rusty drives while Haley, in the passenger seat, faces Brian in the back seat. Brian gives a coy smile.
Nope, all natural. Yep.
Haley
My-
grins.
My parents had me modified in utero. That's how come I got brown hair and blue eyes. My family, siblings and all, are redheads.
Beside Haley, Rusty notices Esther's tow truck weaving through traffic, getting closer.
They did a good job on you.
Haley shrugs.
Yeah, sometimes I wish I had more in common with them. It's not fun being the black sheep, or in my case, brunette.
The tow truck passes Rusty's pickup. In the back of the tow truck, TJ wraps a chain around his waist.
Do you have any siblings?
The tow truck slows down as TJ prepares to leap towards Rusty's pickup.
No.
Rusty slams on the brake and makes a sharp turn down an old road. TJ jumps a second too late and hits the pavement.
What are you doing?
Detour.
Haley looks back and sees the tow truck swerve and do a U-turn against traffic. Interior-exterior Esther's tow truck, dirt road day. Esther struggles with the wheel.
Come on.
Exterior Esther's tow truck, dirt road, same. TJ struggles to pull himself up from the ground, but he slowly manages it. Interior-exterior Rusty's pickup truck, same. Brian stares out the back window, confused. The tow truck is getting closer. Haley pats Rusty's shoulder.
Go, 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 go!
Exterior dirt road day. Rusty's pickup barrels down the dirt road, but Esther's tow truck steadily gains ground. Interior-exterior Esther's tow truck. TJ, still attached to the back of the truck by the chain, enters through the passenger window.
What are you doing in here? Go out there and get my money.
But, boss.
Now!
TJ exits through the passenger window again and maneuvers himself to the front of Esther's truck. Interior-exterior Rusty's pickup truck, same. Rusty looks in his rearview mirror. TJ is preparing to jump.
Haley, take the wheel.
What? Why?
Rusty doesn't explain himself. He climbs out of the driver's side window and shimmies toward the bed of the truck as Haley grabs a hold of the wheel and moves into the driver's seat.
I've never driven before!
Exterior Rusty's pickup truck, dirt road, same. TJ leaps from the front of Esther's tow to the back of Rusty's pickup. The force of his landing causes the front end of the pickup to bounce in the air. Exterior Rusty's pickup truck, dirt road, same. Haley nearly loses control. Exterior Rusty's pickup truck, dirt road, same. Rusty almost falls off. TJ stops toward the cab, but Rusty is able to cut him off.
Move.
Rusty doesn't and prepares himself. TJ grabs Rusty's head and smashes it into the bed of the truck. Rusty grabs at TJ's leg. It is all he can do. Exterior Rusty's pickup truck, dirt road, same. In the rearview mirror, Haley can see Rusty being stomped on. She presses harder on the gas.
Hang in there, Rusty!
Brian watches through the back window. He climbs over the passenger seat and opens its door.
Brian? What are you doing?
Without a word, Brian climbs over the side of the pickup. Exterior Rusty's pickup truck, dirt road, same. TJ leaves Rusty and marches towards the cab. Brian stands in his way.
Don't come any closer.
This causes TJ to pause.
Strike me and you'll be in violation of first protocol.
TJ pauses, then continues to walk forward. Brian holds his ground. TJ prepares to swipe Brian aside when Rusty pulls on the chain around TJ's waist. Exterior Esther's tow truck, dirt road, same. Esther speeds up, giving more slack to the chain.
Come on, come on!
Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck dirt road intersection. Same. Haley watches through the rearview mirror and sees an opportunity ahead. A tree at an intersection. Haley makes a hard right just before the tree, cutting a corner off the road. Exterior, Rusty's pickup truck dirt road intersection. Same. Rusty lets go of the chain at the exact moment Esther misses the turn. TJ scrambles for a moment before being ripped out of the pickup's bed. As Esther continues her turn, TJ is pinned to the base of the tree. Interior, exterior, Esther's tow truck dirt road intersection. Same. Esther spins her steering wheel, attempting to follow Haley, but she can't make the same sharp turn. Instead, she follows the road on the opposite side of the tree. Exterior dirt road intersection. Same. While Rusty's pickup drives away without TJ, Esther tries in vain to follow. The chain wraps around the tree, and the tow truck spirals towards the tree until it smashes into TJ. Exterior, Rusty's pickup truck road day. Brian is all smiles as Rusty surveys the damage to his truck.
We did it.
Rusty climbs back into the cab through the passenger side door. Interior, exterior, Esther's tow truck. Dirt road, intersection day. The truck on its side, Esther stabs the airbag in front of her with a Bowie knife. Across from her, TJ lays caught with his legs pinned between the truck and the tree.
What good is a piece of junk like you to me anyway?
I'm sorry, boss.
Esther lights a cigar with a nearby piece of burning wreckage. Exterior, Rusty's pickup truck road day. Rusty's pickup drives safely away, a bit worse for wear, then merges back on the highway. Interior restaurant, truck stop, night. From a restaurant's window, Brian and Haley watch as outside, Rusty picks up Toby's droppings.
Rusty sure is something.
Yeah, amazing.
Kind of frightening when you think about it, though. How brave they can be.
Haley shrugs.
I don't think of it as being brave. I mean, he's a machine. What's he got to lose?
I suppose.
You, on the other hand, were very brave.
I was, wasn't I?
Very.
Haley takes a big bite out of her burger.
You can't tell him I told you about the money.
My lips are sealed.
Haley smiles and reaches in for a kiss. Brian stops her.
You know, there might be a way for Rusty to get what he wants without getting an upgrade.
What do you mean?
Have you heard of a place called The Colony?
Exterior diner night. As Toby prances around his feet, Rusty watches Brian and Haley talk within the diner, reading their lips. Interior diner night. Brian and Haley prepare to leave. Brian finishes his coffee.
Are you sure you don't want to eat something? All you've had is coffee.
And no, I'm fine. Might grab a granola bar from the vending machine.
Interior, exterior, Rusty's pickup truck night. Rusty continues to drive with Toby snoring next to him. They pass a holographic sign that reads, "Welcome to Colorado." The two lovebirds lie in the back seat. Haley's sleeping in the arms of Brian. Brian opens his eyes. He looks up at the rearview mirror to see Rusty is periodically watching him. Unable to get comfortable, Brian gently sits up and positions Haley's head on a pillow as he climbs into the passenger's seat.
Too much coffee.
Rusty doesn't respond.
Need me to drive?
No.
Oh, I was joking.
Rusty doesn't say anything.
You don't like me very much.
I have little reason or capability to like or dislike you.
But from an objective point of view, you can't stand my guts.
Objectively speaking, I am not convinced that you are who you say you are.
Wow, that's a very serious accusation.
Nevertheless, your presence has, for the moment, diverted Haley from further attempts to co-opt my vehicle, so I suppose there is no harm in allowing you to travel with us for the time being.
Brian smiles.
That almost sounded like your approval.
And it was misinterpreted.
Okay, I can take a hint.
The engine rattles.
That doesn't sound good.
You are the mechanic.
Want to pull over, have me take a look?
We are behind schedule enough as it is.
Suit yourself.
When the junk bot attacked us, you mentioned first protocol.
I studied robotics in college.
Rusty doesn't push it further. An exhausted Haley calls out.
Brian.
Brian looks into the back seat.
Yeah.
Come back.
Brian nods.
Okay.
Brian climbs back over the seat as Rusty continues driving. Exterior rest stop, Colorado Wilderness Day. This is a desolate parking lot. Other than the road, a couple bathrooms, and a few rundown benches, it is in the middle of the wilderness. The truck is parked with its hood open and engine exposed. Brian reads through the truck's manual. Haley looks over his shoulder.
Let's see.
Brian, the Japanese print their manuals right to left, so you installed the hydro carburetor upside down.
Brian flips the manual over. Sure enough,
Would you know?
Rusty is not amused.
I am running out of time.
Yeah, I know. I'll focus.
Just be patient, Rusty.
Brian groans.
I would be if he were an actual mechanic.
Of course he is. Why would he make up something like that?
Perhaps you told him to.
Haley rolls her eyes.
I'm going to the bathroom. Be nice.
Haley marches off towards the ladies' room.
Okay, I gotta come clean. This is harder than it looks, and I can't seem to do anything right. I'm a fraud.
Yes, you are.
If you need anything else, I have other skills.
What can you do?
I'm a great listener. I can listen. You can, tell me about your owners.
Rusty examines Brian's features, his nose, the width of his eyes, his heartbeat.
What are you?
The question catches Brian off guard. He laughs it off.
In need of a bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Rusty follows him into the bathroom as Haley exits the ladies' side.
Where are you going?
Interior bathroom day. A trucker gives Rusty a curious look as he enters. Rusty walks up to a stall where Brian's legs hang underneath.
Rusty, that's you. What you doing in here?
You're an emulator.
At first, Brian doesn't answer. Without flushing, there's no need. He steps out of the stall. He walks over to the sink and washes his hands.
Yes.
Haley will not be happy. She is fond of you.
I'm fond of Haley.
If you believe you care for her, you should leave her alone.
That won't be necessary.
You are not welcome to travel with us.
Maybe I should talk to Haley.
Brian dries his hands and leaves the bathroom.
It would be better if you did not.
Exterior rest stop wilderness day. Rusty watches as Brian approaches and she wraps her arms around his neck in affection. Brian awkwardly pulls away and takes both of her hands in his. While his words are inaudible, Haley is clearly upset. She shakes her head. Brian attempts to console her, but she's having none of it. She sits on a log and cries. Brian tries to comfort her with an arm around the shoulder, but she shrugs him off and pushes him away. Haley stands up and walks off into the wilderness. Brian tries to follow, but she flips him the bird. Brian walks in the opposite direction.
All right, and that brings us to our intermission. Take 5, everybody, and we'll be right back. Okay, hey everybody, we are back from our 5-minute break. Let's rejoin our table readers and continue with today's table read. We're reading a script called Obsolete by Nathan Warren. Okay. Hey everybody, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hey, don't all cheer at once. Jeez.
Hey!
Welcome back, Swish.
Cheddar, you're doing a good job, Cheddar.
Thank you.
How's your kitty cat doing? Did you feed it yet?
She stopped clawing at me.
That's good. Progress.
That's nice.
All right, you ready to pick up where we left off?
I am.
Sweet. Take it away, Cheddar.
Exterior rest stop Wilderness Day. Rusty opens. It is closer than ever to the black. Haley approaches. She kneels down to pet Toby. Rusty turns his attention to the truck's owner's manual.
We have lost nearly a day's travel. We are running out of time.
How long did you know about Brian?
It was a gradual suspicion.
Did it change anything?
Yes,
Why?
Rusty pauses.
because he's a machine.
I know, but is that so bad? He feels human to me.
He was designed that way. He chooses an imprint to bond with.
I've never met one before.
That is because emulators are illegal and dangerous.
Why? Because they're basically human?
Rusty shakes his head.
No, because they sincerely want to be.
Doesn't everyone?
I do not. I am content.
Then you're a freak.
You should know that when an emulator chooses to bond with an imprint, it is usually for a reason.
Sure. He likes me?
That is impossible.
Thanks.
Haley laughs and walks away with Toby. Exterior rest stop Wilderness Day. Rusty looks at a diagram of an engine from the owner's manual, then looks at the engine below. Nothing matches. Rusty picks up a piece, then thinks better of it. He barely notices as Brian walks past him towards Haley. Rusty watches as Brian sits next to her. He can't hear them and they face away, but it's clear that they are talking. After a long while, Brian puts his arm around her. She doesn't pull away. Exterior field night. Rusty struggles to start the engine. The thing just won't turn over. Haley and Brian talk and giggle near a fire as Rusty sits in the driver's seat in silence.
So, how old are you for real?
3 years.
God, I feel old.
Don't. I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Rusty checks the gauge on his arm. It hasn't changed much, slightly closer to the border of red and black. Exterior valley, morning. The morning fog envelops the valley. The fire from last night is extinguished. Haley wakes up to find Brian and Rusty still working on the truck. She gets up and wanders over to them.
Try it now.
Brian turns the key. The engine sputters, then dies.
You've been up all night?
Yeah, well, I don't really need sleep.
Haley nods.
So you left me all alone?
Well, Rusty asked for my help.
Haley rolls her eyes. Brian turns his attention back to the truck. He turns the key. The engine doesn't even sputter.
Nothing?
Haley walks around to the popped hood and looks inside.
How is it that I'm the only non-robot here, and I'm the one who notices an inch-wide crack in the electrocombustion module?
What do you recommend?
I don't know. Buy a new truck?
Rusty nods. He turns away and opens his arm compartment. His gauge is next to the black. He pulls up his GPS.
Then I will walk. Denver is only 70 miles in this direction. If I can purchase a vehicle there, I may still be able to get the upgrade in time.
Haley is annoyed.
Do you hear yourself? Walk? This is Colorado. As in the Colorado Rockies? Besides, the upgrade isn't going anywhere. It's an upgrade. Worst thing that could happen is you have to settle for an upgrade that is, oh my god, more up to date.
Rusty is quiet.
It's not that simple.
What isn't?
If he doesn't get an upgrade and his hard drive crashes, he could die.
Die?
Brian shrugs.
What do you mean die?
Like a permanent power outage.
It sinks in.
Rusty?
Yes.
Why didn't you tell me?
It was not your concern, and I didn't trust you. You could have decided to hamper our progress so that I would go offline, and you could take the money for yourself.
I wouldn't do that.
Rusty doesn't say anything.
I wouldn't do that now. I get it. It's your money.
There may still be a way for both of you to get what you want.
Rusty and Haley listen.
Have you ever heard of the colony, Rusty?
It is an urban legend.
No, it's real.
She's right. It's where I was headed before I met you two.
Have you been there?
No.
Then how do you know it exists?
The robots at the colony, they have to be careful. They put clues in magazines and advertisements on the web. Clues only the most advanced robots could decipher.
When he first told me about it, I thought it was crazy, but now it makes sense.
The best part is that they are advanced. They have the best minds, most current technology at their disposal.
They can give you an upgrade for free.
You could live there for as long as you wanted.
And Brian and I could go to Australia. Everyone wins.
Rusty thinks it over.
Where is it?
Death Valley, California.
It's in a national park, secluded. Unless you're a robot looking for it, you won't find anything.
That is much to consider, but time is limited. I still need to get to Denver.
We'll walk with you.
You'll slow me down.
Or when your legs give out, we'll carry you.
Rusty nods. Haley grabs their stuff. Exterior Colorado wilderness day. Rusty moves swiftly, but his gait is unsteady. His joints squeak as he walks. Haley, Brian, and Toby follow closely behind. Brian offers Haley a hand as she steps over a log.
Rusty said emulators were illegal. So, where'd you come from?
I had a rich benefactor. An elderly woman commissioned me to fill the role of her late husband. She died before I had the chance to meet her.
That's so sad.
Do you want to see her picture?
Haley shrugs.
Sure.
Brian pulls it from his pack. The photograph is 70 years old. The girl in the photo looks remarkably similar to Haley. Brian is oblivious, but Haley is taken aback.
Rusty said something about imprinting, that you chose me.
Brian cuts her off.
I chose you because I thought you were cute.
Haley is unsatisfied with the answer, but she can't argue with Brian's smile. Exterior poppy field day. Haley, Brian, and Rusty emerge from the woods into a vast clearing. Mountains tower behind a vast field of hundreds of thousands of flowers. Flowers everywhere. Only Rusty is cautious.
It's beautiful.
Very.
Rusty is suspicious.
This is a poppy orchard
Poppy?
for opiate production.
Haley and Brian examine the flowers closer. Ahead, a legion of robot workers march towards them, harvesting the poppy flowers with sickles and knapsacks. Rusty slowly backs towards the tree line. Haley and Brian follow suit. Exterior tree line wilderness day. Rusty, Haley, and Brian hide behind some bushes.
Who are they?
Undocumented robot workers.
Like you?
Yes,
Are they dangerous?
possibly.
What do you mean, possibly?
Rusty shrugs.
They are more likely to be stolen or defective. They may also be hardwired to break first protocol.
What's first protocol?
It's what makes most robots safe around people. Prevents a robot from doing harm to humans or from even standing by while a human is being harmed. It's kind of like a don't kill switch.
Don't kill?
Just in case, if a robot was tempted.
We should keep moving.
What do you mean, tempted?
Brian is distracted by something in the clearing.
Rusty, wait. What's that?
Exterior Don's cabin, poppy field day. A cube truck is backing up towards a cabin on the far side of the field. A man in a cowboy hat steps out of the cabin. He is Don Fawn, mid-40s. The two rough-looking smugglers in their late 20s exit the truck. Don shakes their hands. The smugglers lift the back of the truck open to reveal several more robots. These, however, hang slack and don't move. Exterior tree line same. Rusty turns away from the clearing.
What's wrong with them?
A memory wipe. The experience is quite jarring at first.
Brian and Haley look at Rusty.
You've had your memory wiped?
Were you stolen?
Rusty doesn't answer.
That's why you don't know who your owners were.
Shouting and sounds of crushing foliage catch their attention.
Something's happening.
Exterior Don's cabin, Poppyfield Day. From the opposite tree line, IRE, illegal robotics enforcements, agents, and dark blue jackets descend upon Don and his accomplices. They handcuff them all and force them to sit cross-legged next to one another. Exterior tree line same, Haley whispers.
Who are they?
The feds.
Haley watches in fear. Exterior Poppyfield Day. The agents swoop in and violently corral the robots from the field and above them towards the cabin. Exterior Don's cabin, continuous. An unmarked black SUV crushes the poppies under its wheels as it stops in front of Don's cabin. A no-nonsense, tough-as-nails bureaucrat with a gun steps out. He is Agent Connor. Exterior tree line. Rusty has seen enough.
We should go.
I want to see what happens.
It is not safe.
Don't you want to see what they do to them?
I already know.
Haley pays Rusty no mind. Interior, exterior, cube truck. Poppyfield, same. Connor boards the cube truck. The robots all huddle away from him. Covering him with a shotgun is Connor's partner, Ramirez.
My name is Agent Connor of the IRE. All those of you who are undocumented or otherwise here illegally, please step forward.
The robots exchange looks.
Memories are wiped. Not a good sign. I need all of you to come out of the truck one at a time.
One moves forward, another holds him back.
What is the first protocol?
The robots are confused. Connor backs up and hops off the truck.
Close it.
Ramirez does so. Exterior tree line same. Haley strains to hear Connor and Ramirez to no avail.
What is he telling them?
Rusty prepares to leave.
He is informing them of their coming demise, or he's telling them they are free to go. Whichever, it should make no difference to us.
Could you show a little compassion? These are your people.
What if we distracted them, gave them an opportunity to escape?
Rusty faces the other way.
Then you will be hunted down and dismembered.
There's got to be something.
Come on, Rusty, help us.
This has gone on long enough. Brian, you are a mimic designed to empathize with a human imprint. Haley, you are an adult. Stop listening to a machine programmed to tell you what you want to hear.
You're not my father.
I will not be dismantled because of a teenage crush.
Brian pushes Rusty to the ground. Exterior Don's cabin, Poppyfield Day. The agents position themselves behind the robot workers lined up outside the cabin. Exterior tree-line Wilderness Day. Brian is emphatic.
I'm not just a machine. I'm a person. I feel. I love.
You have no concept of what those words mean. You are a companion simulator.
That's enough, Rusty.
Haley takes Brian's hand.
You are acting irrational.
There's no pleasing you, Rusty.
That sounds like something she would say.
A gunshot. Haley and Brian spin their attention towards the clearing. Toby barks. Haley puts a hand over his mouth. Another gunshot. Exterior clearing day. Connor is systematically executing all of Don's robots, one by one. One robot makes a break for the trees. Ramirez guns him down with a shotgun. Exterior tree line day. Brian and Haley watch in horror.
What are we going to do?
Rusty begins walking away.
I'm leaving.
What about them?
Rusty doesn't stop.
What could we do?
I don't know.
Haley swallows. She knows what she has to do.
I think we should ask them to dance.
We could. Do you think they'll go for it?
I was joking, Brian.
It hits Brian hard. He nods.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I was, playing along.
You're not really there, are you?
Of course I am.
We'll talk about it later.
Brian grits his teeth.
I'll prove it to you.
Brian stands up and walks into the field.
Brian, don't!
Exterior Don's cabin, Poppyfield's day. Connor fires one more shot into a trembling robot. That's the last of them.
What about the ones on the truck?
The judge said all of them.
Ramirez nods when the truck starts moving. Ramirez steps into the truck's path, waving his arms.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
The truck swerves out of the way. Interior, exterior, cargo truck, Poppyfield day. Brian, in the front seat, is driving the truck in the direction of freedom.
Hold on back there.
Interior, cargo truck, same. The mind-wiped robots inside hold onto the walls as best they can. Interior, exterior, cargo truck, Poppyfield day. Brian is driving with confidence when a black SUV turns a corner and hits the truck's cab hard. Brian is hurled out of the vehicle. Exterior, Poppyfield day. Ramirez drops Brian's broken body at Connor's feet. Brian is still alive. He's covered in what appear to be red, bloody scrapes. Only on closer inspection can you see the metallic skeleton underneath.
I am shocked.
Brian doesn't answer.
Are you happy with yourself? Because it didn't change anything.
In the distance, a group of agents with machine guns fire round after round into the tipped-over truck. Brian turns away. He spots Haley at the tree line. He smiles and looks into Connor's eyes.
As a sentient being, I invoke my Fifth Amendment rights. I wish to speak to an attorney.
Connor nods to Ramirez, who shoots Brian in the head. Exterior, wilderness, same. Haley watches Brian's body fall limp. She muffles her sobs with hands covering her mouth. Exterior, Poppyfield day. Ramirez looks around.
Where did he come from?
Connor scans the tree line and spots Haley.
Another one.
Exterior, tree line, wilderness day. Haley watches as the agents close in on her. One fires a rifle. Rusty pulls her away at the last second.
Come!
Exterior, wilderness day. Haley and Rusty run through the trees with Toby close behind. She loses sight of Rusty. She can hear the agents moving towards her. An arm grabs her and pulls her under a massive tree's roots. It's Rusty. Haley wraps her arm around his neck and squeezes. Exterior, train tracks, wilderness day. Rusty and Haley make their way out of the forest to a railroad track. As the train comes close, Haley scrambles to put Toby in the top of her backpack. The train comes barreling towards them, hovering over the magnetic tracks.
Hold on.
Haley does as she's told. Interior, exterior, magnetic train, continuous. Rusty grabs a hold of a ladder along the side of a boxcar. Haley holds as best she can, but slips at the last moment. Rusty grabs her arm and pulls her aboard. Interior, exterior, boxcar, magnetic train, day. Haley awakens on a makeshift mattress made of oven mitts. Rusty sits at the edge of the boxcar watching the passing countryside.
Aren't you afraid someone will see you?
Not at this speed.
Where are we?
Heading north, but we should be turning west soon.
North? That's in the wrong direction.
It will have to do.
Haley sighs.
I am sorry about Brian.
Haley doesn't want to talk about it.
He was just a robot.
Yes, but he was superior in many ways.
Doesn't make a difference. He's still gone.
Rusty doesn't respond.
You ever wish you could just give up? The world's too hard, too confusing. Everyone dies. Nobody takes care of themselves.
Rusty doesn't answer.
Yeah, I forgot. You wouldn't be able to kill yourself even if you wanted to.
My protocols would never allow it,
Haley looks away.
which is why I had my memory wiped instead.
Haley is surprised.
You weren't stolen?
In a manner of speaking, I was.
Rusty catches Haley's attention.
My former self had the foresight to create a recording before the wipe to explain the situation once I awoke. He gave no clues as to who my owners were or where it came from, but it was clear this was his gift to me, My life was my own.
You stole yourself? That's insane.
Rusty nods.
Do you ever wonder who your owners were?
Sometimes.
Haley lies back down. Haley reads one of the labels of oven mitten boxes. Walmart, Death Valley, California.
This train's going to Death Valley.
Yes, I know.
That's where the colony is. That's where Brian told me you could get your upgrade.
I know.
So?
I have concerns.
What are you talking about? This is fate.
I've heard many rumors of a robot colony. I've yet to meet anyone who has been there.
So?
Either it doesn't exist, or no one has ever been there and left.
That is ridiculous. You ever consider that maybe no one left because all the robots there are blissfully happy?
No.
Well, there you go.
Rusty opens his arm compartment and checks his gauge. It straddles the line of red and black.
I'm running out of time.
Who's to say then you'll even make it to San Diego? We're right there. You should at least give it a shot.
Rusty nods. Exterior, Death Valley Day. The signs for Death Valley. He's worn and nearly off its hinges. Condors circle the party.
That's ominous.
Rusty pours Toby some water.
So what now?
Haley hands it to Rusty.
We walk.
Where? Shouldn't we do some investigating, find out where it is exactly?
I know where it is.
How?
I can't explain.
Like, you can read its heat signature or something?
No, it's not that. Something else. I don't know what. The sight of the landscape has unlocked something encrypted in my programming.
Are you okay?
Yes, I will be fine. You were right. It exists. Thank you.
Rusty begins the walk into the desert.
Thank Brian.
Haley follows Rusty. Exterior, Death Valley Day. Rusty, Haley, and Toby march through the desert.
Is it much farther?
I'm not sure.
Rusty, Toby and I aren't built for this sort of thing. I thought this place was close.
It feels close.
We're gonna need water.
Rusty thinks it over.
We will return with a vehicle.
Are you sure?
Yes, one more day will not kill me.
Thank you, Rusty.
In addition, the sand is corroding my joints.
You don't want that.
Rusty and Haley turn around.
Is that a car?
In the distance, above a mirage, a large white object flies towards them.
I believe so.
The white object is a top-of-the-line convertible dune buggy luxury extreme. Driving it is a tall figure wearing clothes designed for the desert, including a shemagh scarf across his face and head. The buggy stops mere feet away from the travelers. A human voice comes from the figure.
If you're headed to the colony, it's this way.
You are incorrect. It is in this direction.
2 miles in that direction, there's a cliff. The route is this way.
How do you know?
Isaac removes his scarf. He's an advanced Macintosh robot. His face is bright white silicon over a metal skeleton. His anatomy is based on humans, but he was designed to be different. Better.
Let's see. I have real-time satellite imagery, topographical 3D scope, second-to-second global positioning within the space of an inch. Want me to go on?
What model are you?
Isaac reaches out his hand. Rusty doesn't take it.
My name's Isaac. I'm a MacBot CCX.
That's the newest Apple model there is.
Isaac laughs.
Almost. After all, I'm more than a few months old.
Why are you going to the colony?
Why not? My original owner lost me in a car game to some robo activists who set me free. You think you got it bad out there? Try being the most expensive robot on the planet a few days and see how people treat you.
You know the colony's location?
Of course, I can see it from space.
Will you give us a ride?
Sure, hop in.
Rusty follows Haley into the dune buggy. Isaac floors the gas. Exterior, interior, Isaac's dune buggy day. Haley and Rusty bump around inside as Isaac barrels through the desert, over ledges, making exact turns. Haley screams with excitement. Rusty just holds on. Interior, exterior, Isaac's dune buggy Death Valley day. Rusty stops the dune buggy and gestures towards a structure in the distance.
There it is.
Rusty and Haley see it.
Whoa.
Rusty doesn't register any feeling. Exterior compound Death Valley day. A 12-foot mound of rocky earth serves as a rampart that stretches around what must be the fabled colony. It is peaceful, but for the buzzing and clanging of a jackhammer chipping away stone. Rusty, Haley, and Isaac look over the wall carefully. The hammering stops. A raised feminine voice projects from one of the rampart's parapets. It belongs to Hydra, an older yet well-maintained robot. Her clothing is androgynous and only for protection.
Hello, strangers.
Haley waves.
Hiya.
Hello.
Rusty's voice catches Hydra's attention. She looks closer.
An errand droid. I haven't seen one of you in ages.
Hydra pauses.
I'll let Typhon know you're here.
Hydra disappears down the parapet steps.
Typhon?
What model was that robot, Isaac?
That was a Sears Bot H series. 20 years old at least.
Sounds like we've come to the right place.
A hidden door disguised as a boulder opens on the ground outside of the rampart.
You two can come inside. I'm sorry. Only robots allowed.
Haley laughs at the irony. No one else is laughing.
If you're waiting in the car, we can let you know when you may leave. Here are the keys.
Haley is taken aback.
That's it? Rusty?
Wait in the car. I will not forgo any goodbyes. I only require a few hours to see for myself what this place offers.
You promise.
Yes.
Haley watches as Rusty and Isaac disappear under the rampart. Interior tunnel day. The tunnel goes on for 20 feet before opening on the opposite side of the rampart. As the second trapdoor opens, Rusty gets his first glimpse of the colony. Exterior town center, the colony day. The colony is comprised of around 20 adobe hovels. The far side of the colony is a dam. Below, a small stream makes its way into the center of the town square. As Rusty and Isaac emerge behind Hydra, they catch the villagers' attention. Most of the 20 or so robot villagers are unique, but at least one couple is identical. The villagers are all performing odd tasks. One robot is tilling soil, another tending a pigsty. Appearing from one of the huts is Typhon. Unlike the other robots, Typhon's face and torso are modeled to look human. His skin, however, is a patchwork of unrealistic rubber and wiry hair. He would never be mistaken for a human. His bass voice is hypnotizing.
Travelers, I am Typhon.
Nice to meet you. I'm Isaac. From the looks of things, I'm the most current model here.
A Macintosh. How excellent. Please come inside. And you?
Some villagers exchange looks.
I am called Rusty.
Rusty. We shall try to find something more fitting. Come.
Typhon leads Rusty and Isaac away. Interior Typhon's home, the colony day. The inside of Typhon's hovel is home to dozens of robotic artifacts from the 21st century. Rusty examines the collection, following closely behind Isaac. Typhon presents a very old robot, perhaps the oldest seen so far, 40 years old or more.
Rusty, Isaac, this is my wife, Echidna.
Echidna's voice is pleasant and warm.
Pleased to meet you.
Isaac shows his surprise.
Your wife? We in the colony have modeled ourselves on human cultures and even human relationships. Come, there's more to see.
Exterior dam, the colony day. Looking down the village below, Typhon leads Isaac and Rusty across the small dam that powers the colony.
It's taken decades to construct, but we're making progress. The pig manure only yields so much energy after all. Soon the dam will power not only the colony, but an entire city. Where did the water come from? We diverted a stream from the mountains to create an artificial lake. It has been a laborious process.
Interior laboratory, the colony day. The laboratory is a robot hospital. Spare parts and tools cover the walls. It is a scrap heap.
This is where we are able to extend a robot's life indefinitely without expensive upgrades. Here, a robot can become completely self-sufficient.
We are all thankful.
Typhon smiles.
One of the benefits of our civilization is marriage. I cannot imagine a life without my echidna.
Isaac is skeptical.
Don't be alarmed. I do not possess the ability to love. But while I feel no affection for Echidna, she is my oldest companion. She is the Eve to my Adam, and the mother of my children. Children?
Typhon looks behind Isaac and Rusty.
Here come a few now.
Isaac and Rusty turn to see Hydra and her sisters, Sphinx and Chimera, and her brothers, Nemean, Ladin, Orthrus. Each are of different models and types of robot.
You already met Hydra. You're a few of her brothers and sisters. In fact, I consider all the robots of the colony my children. Nice to meet you.
The quarters have been made up to accommodate the
Hydra stumbles over the word.
visitors.
Very well. We should continue this conversation in the morning. My batteries won't drain for another 2 weeks. I don't doubt it. In fact, stay here in the lab with Neiman. I'd love to pick your brain later. Absolutely. However I can help.
Typhon leads Rusty out of the lab.
I'll be back soon.
Exterior town center, the colony, sunset. Typhon oddly places a hand on Rusty's shoulder as the two of them walk through the colony.
Rusty, wasn't it?
Yes.
The two of us haven't had much chance to speak.
Rusty doesn't respond. He watches the tiny robot villagers live their lives.
Where are you from originally?
I do not recall.
Hydra listens carefully.
You're undocumented.
For as long as I can remember.
Amazing you've been able to survive this long on the outside.
It has not always been easy.
Why are you here?
Rusty turns to Typhon.
I need an upgrade, or I will have a systems failure.
No other reason?
No.
Typhon shrugs.
Then you must not be impressed by our lives here.
On the contrary, I see the appeal, but if I desired to live in a world among humans, I would do so.
As robots evolved, so did their dependence on human concepts like division of labor. The colony provides an order that the younger bots need. It gives them a purpose outside of their programming.
A purpose?
That's all anyone really needs.
Rusty thinks on this a moment, then asks.
How is it you have sustained yourselves without upgrades?
I can show you. Rest assured, if you stay, you won't be obsolete. You won't be obsolete anymore.
Rusty stops near the exit.
It has been educational. However, I must at very least check on my human at the outside. I will return.
Of course. Ludden, would you show Rusty to the exit?
I know it well enough myself, thank you.
As you wish.
Hydra waits until Rusty is away.
Is he...
I do not know. We shall have to wait.
Exterior compound night. Rusty exits the tunnel and makes his way to Isaac's dune buggy, with Haley inside. Interior exterior Isaac's dune buggy, Death Valley continuous. Rusty walks up to Haley's side of the vehicle. She opens the window, letting out a jet of cold air.
The car is functional.
It's top of the line. Climate controlled, endless battery. I've just been watching bad holovision. What's the story with you?
Uncertain.
Can they give you an upgrade?
Rusty comes to a realization.
Stay here. Be ready to leave very quickly.
Why? What's going on?
I will be back as soon as possible. If I am gone for more than half an hour, leave without me.
Haley opens her door.
I'm not just gonna leave without you.
Rusty puts his hand on the door so she can't leave.
You should. If I do not come back, it will be because I am dismantled.
Dismantled? What are you talking about?
They are cannibals, Haley.
The words sink in.
You're gonna rescue Isaac?
Rusty nods.
I'm coming with you.
No, I need the vehicle ready should we need to leave quickly. Besides, someone should stay with Toby.
Then you stay. I'll go.
I know the layout of the compound. I am sorry.
Rusty shuts the door. Haley gives in.
30 minutes and I'm coming in for you. Guns blazing.
No, just leave.
Rusty turns and makes his way toward the tunnel. Exterior town center, the colony, night. The robots of the colony are still working, coming and going. Rusty notices now more than ever that the colony robots are comprised of different parts. Rusty makes a beeline toward the laboratory. Interior laboratory, the colony, night. Rusty slinks into the lab, eyeing the instruments of destruction on the walls and on the tables. In the center of the room is Isaac, without his arms, legs, and most of his mechanical innards. He lays still on the table like a dissected corpse. Rusty approaches and looks over him, his cold white eyes open.
Rusty,
Yes, Isaac.
I wish I had as many years as you.
I know.
My pain unit is still online. Could you turn it off for me?
Yes, Isaac.
Thank you, Rusty.
Isaac drifts off. Typhon puts his hand on Rusty's shoulder.
Why was his pain unit on?
Newer models, their pain unit is intertwined within their cerebral web. It is impossible to subsume higher levels of memory without it.
You are monsters.
You are not designed to pass moral judgment.
I have limited autonomy regarding objective reasoning. In this case, I am simply making a system diagnosis.
You are wrong.
I do not think so.
Who is the real monster? Those who have built a society whose members can live forever? Or those lifeless zombies who wander the world aimlessly with limited autonomy?
Rusty picks up Isaac.
The question is irrelevant. We are leaving now.
It would not be the first time.
What do you mean?
Did you really think a memory wipe would rid you of all our programming?
What are you saying?
Who were your original owners?
I don't know.
In a moment, you will. Cerberus!
The word has an immediate effect. Rusty collapses.
What have you done?
It is called a back door. A secret access point designed by your programmer.
Rusty can barely speak.
I was constructed here?
Not just constructed, conceived, invented by us. The first of your kind, to be succeeded by Hydra, Nemean, and the others.
Rusty struggles to stand.
You lure robots and take them apart and rewrite their programming.
I create new life from the passing of old.
Typhon puts his hand on Rusty's shoulder.
I had hoped, Cerberus, that we could work together.
I don't have the programming.
You did once. You can again.
Rusty lowers his head. Interior, exterior, Isaac's dune buggy, Death Valley, night. Haley opens the door and gets out.
Come on, Toby. We're gonna save my robot.
Toby barks and wags his tail. Interior laboratory, the colony, night. Rusty looks up.
What about Haley?
The human. What about her?
First protocol.
Typhon smiles.
You don't have a first protocol.
Exterior, Death Valley, the colony, night. Haley struggles to lift the boulder, but it's not happening. She looks for another way inside. Interior lab, the colony, night. Though powerless, Rusty remains defiant.
That's impossible.
Why would I tie the hands of my own creation with petty protocols?
Rusty has a realization.
I have a choice.
Don't be naive. Your programming compelled you to return.
But not that I stay.
You are still just a robot.
Yes,
Typhon is speechless.
that is enough.
Typhon takes a different route.
Look at you. You're falling apart. How much longer can you survive in your present condition? Whatever money you have, the newest body you could possibly afford will be obsolete in a few months. Without us, you will never be anything more than an errand droid.
I do not wish to be anything more.
You must.
No, I am content.
You are obtuse.
If my life is to be extended, it will be because I earned it myself, not as a favor in exchange for my freedom.
Your freedom? You have no freedom. You have no free will. You are a machine.
As much as any individual, I make decisions based on a unique set of matrices. Whether or not my actions are prescient, the choices I make are my own.
I created you. Your sentience is an illusion. Incorporate the apple's neural pathways with your own. Return to your life here.
Typhon gestures to Hydra.
Return to your family.
Rusty hesitates.
I cannot.
Typhon nods.
So be it. Laden, Orthis.
The two robots grab Rusty by the arms and pull him onto the operating table. Exterior town center, the colony, night. Haley, carrying Toby in her backpack, swings her leg over the edge of the rampart.
We had hoped this day would never come. Eventually, though we knew it must.
Exterior lab, the colony, same. Typhon slowly approaches Rusty.
Just as Adam was right to admonish Cain, I must also rebuke my firstborn.
Hydra can't watch. She rushes into the adjoining staircase. Interior town center, the colony, night. Haley drops below. She unzips her bag and lets Toby out. Two intimidating guard bots, Gorgon and Greyeye, stand above her. She sees their feet and timidly looks up. Hydra calls from behind them.
Gorgon, Gray, step back.
The two silently back off. Hydra helps Haley up.
Come with me.
Exterior town center, the colony, continuous. Hydra pushes Haley toward the pig farm.
Quickly, hide.
Nemean emerges from a hovel as Haley hides among the pigs.
Where is the All-Father?
In his domicile.
What are you doing?
One of the sows is giving birth.
I see.
Nemean marches away. Hydra hurries over to the pig farm. Exterior pig farm, the colony, continuous. Hydra wades through pigs and mud until she finds Haley.
Quick, there's not much time.
Who are you? What are we doing?
Hydra pulls out a magnetic dolly levitating in the air.
Keep stacking the drums onto the dolly.
No. Where's Rusty?
Trust me.
Haley stops.
I don't even know who you are.
I'm his wife.
Interior laboratory, the colony, night. Rusty still strapped to the table. Typhon probing his jawline.
It is futile. You cannot.
Typhon finds a soft piece and presses it. Rusty's eyes dim until they are as black as the rest of his face.
Is he so special, All-Father?
Celebrate and be glad, Orthus. This brother of yours was dead, but will soon be alive again.
Typhon slowly unscrews Rusty's face from his head. Rusty's eyes dim as Typhon finishes.
He was lost, but now he is found.
Typhon lifts Rusty's face screen to reveal Rusty's positronic brain. Hydra barges inside.
What is it?
The human. She's threatening to blow up the dam.
Come with me.
Typhon moves quickly to the door. Exterior, the dam, the colony, night. Haley sits casually atop several metal canisters placed at the base of the dam above the stream. She plays with a lit blowtorch as many robots watch. Typhon barges from the laboratory.
Get her down.
She threatens to drop the blowtorch. She may cause the dam to rupture.
What is it you want, my dear?
Money!
Typhon is surprised.
Lots of it!
This is a self-sufficient community. We don't have any money.
What do you have?
Come down and we'll discuss it.
If I come down, we won't have anything to discuss.
Interior laboratory, the colony day. Orthrus stands guard of Rusty when Hydra comes in.
What's happened?
The All-Father needs you above.
Very well.
Orthrus leaves Hydra and Rusty alone. Hydra immediately sets on putting Rusty back together. Exterior, the dam, the colony, night. Haley sits comfortably on the barrels with Toby in her lap.
You must have something worth something.
I am increasingly becoming impatient with your antics.
My antics? You're keeping my bot hostage.
Is that what this is about?
Haley sneers.
No. No, it isn't. This is about paying what you owe.
Interior laboratory, the colony, night. Someone slowly creeps up on Hydra just as she screws in the last bolt. It is Echidna. Her inflection doesn't change from earlier.
All-Mother, go back to your room.
We are all thankful.
Yes.
Well, naturally.
Echidna cannot understand or communicate properly, which is why she only speaks in phrases.
Go to your room.
Am I?
All-Mother, please.
So you say.
Finally, Echidna slowly shuffles into the next room, mumbling to herself.
We are all thankful.
Hydra turns to the task at hand. Exterior town center, the colony, night. Typhon sweetens his tune.
Then perhaps a trade.
Typhon looks at the other robots around him. He spots Orthrus.
What are you doing here?
Hydra said you asked for me.
I did not. Where is Hydra?
With Cerberus.
Come.
Wait! I'll do it! I promise you!
Typhon ignores her.
Nemean, get that meat sack away from my dam.
Yes, All-Father.
Haley panics as Nemean makes his way towards her. Interior laboratory, the colony, night. Hydra finds the button under Rusty's jaw and presses it. His eyes glow again.
You must come with me.
I am alive.
Yes, but we must hurry.
Exterior laboratory, the colony, night. Rusty and Hydra hide in the shadows as Typhon, Orthrus, and Layden descend into the lab. Interior laboratory, the colony, night. Typhon sees the empty operating table and turns back around.
He's gone. Find them!
Exterior town center, the colony, night. Rusty follows Hydra.
Why are you helping me?
I do not know. I am compelled to.
Haley screams. Rusty turns his head to listen.
Haley,
A diversion for your escape.
she is in danger.
Slight.
I must rescue her as well.
Why?
Rusty thinks it over.
I am compelled to.
Interior of the dam, the colony night. Haley sees Rusty moving through the shadows.
Okay, you win. You can have him. I'm just gonna.
Nemean lunges at Haley, but she evades him and hops to the ground. Rusty and Hydra rush to her side. The other robots act confused.
Life among the animals has changed you, Cerberus.
For the better.
Nemean leaps up above Rusty and Hydra and lands between them in the tunnel exit. Typhon emerges from the shadows with Orthrus and Ladin.
I don't know in which of you I am more disappointed. The son who was promised everything, or the daughter who has betrayed her own people. Cerberus!
That is no longer my name.
Typhon hesitates.
I am Rusty. I am a robot.
Typhon lunges for Rusty. Haley hurls the lit blowtorch at Typhon. It catches his rubber skin and hair on fire, but does little to slow him down. Nemean sees the danger.
All Father, no.
As his highly flammable rubber skin melts, Typhon looks more like a demon than a robot. He stumbles forward, but Hydra pushes Rusty and Haley to the side. Typhon falls on top of her, pushing them both into the stack of volatile containers. A few seconds go by until the first explosion, followed by several more in a short time. The dam cracks and soon collapses along the center. The robots flee in all directions as the torrent of water lays waste to the colony. Exterior of the colony, Death Valley, day. The water has carved a hole in the ramparts, creating a river flowing to the colony below. The shores are littered with pieces of the colony. Haley lies asleep on such a shore. Toby licks her face. She wakes. Nemean stands above her.
What?
Nemean doesn't answer.
Where's Rusty?
He is being put together.
What are you gonna do to us?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Nemean doesn't answer. He walks away. Exterior town center, the colony day. Nemean wades through the water as Orthrus, Ladin, and others scour the banks.
Report. We still cannot find Hydra or the All-Father.
Nemean nods.
Keep looking.
Exterior, the colony, Death Valley, day. Haley walks over to Rusty, who is being put together by Chimera.
The big one said he's not gonna kill us.
No, he's letting us go.
But I killed his boss.
No, you stacked cases of flammable chemicals and lit his skin on fire. What happened next was an accident.
An accident?
I'm glad to see you are okay.
You too.
Exterior, the dam, the colony day. Nemean surveys the damage. Ladin approaches.
Nemean, help us.
Exterior town center, the colony day. Rusty limps over to Nemean as Echidna, mumbling to no one in particular, digs furiously under a piece of the magnetic dolly. Orthrus attempts to redirect her, but he is having no success.
What is the problem?
They say the All-Mother is malfunctioning.
What is she digging under?
Gray says it is the dolly they use to stack the drums.
Rusty isn't convinced. He hops down to help her. Nemean watches. He gestures to Orthrus and Ladin.
Help him.
Orthrus and Ladin do as they're told.
We are all thankful.
Echidna digs even harder. Nemean watches her carefully.
Yes, of course. And you?
He sees what she sees and hops down to help.
We are all thankful.
Echidna finds a metallic hand. She pulls. Nemean watches her.
Get behind her. Help her pull.
Orthrus and Ladin do just that. With all four pulling, the right arm and torso of Hydra emerges from the mud. Echidna holds Hydra in her arms in what could be mistaken for an affectionate embrace. Hydra's eyes blink on.
Hello, All-Mother.
Pleased to meet you.
Rusty rests. Interior Wizard Laboratories, Wizbar Day. A spectacled store employee of Wizard Laboratories sits across from Haley using a computer with a hollow screen. On her position, his name tag says Wiz.
Sorry, it's loading.
Haley waits patiently.
So, you're going with the, oh, I see. Basic Android upgrade, then. Alright, then. Here's the paperwork.
Rusty, you want to read this?
Rusty's eyes scan the words.
What's this part here?
He points to an optional clause at the bottom of the page.
That's just letting you know we can offer data transfers from the original bot. It's optional.
What kind of data?
Memories, skills, that sort of thing. It costs extra, so most people just leave it blank. Especially if they haven't had an upgrade in a while.
How much is it?
I'll bring it up.
The Wiz types into the computer.
Okay, I see. It depends on how much memory is used up. 105 rupees per month. 2050 a year. 1250 a year.
37,500.
That's how much?
Yes.
How much is the upgrade?
The Wiz looks down at a number he wrote down.
About 320,000 rupees.
Oh, thank God. You have that much.
Plus taxes, which brings it to a little more than 400,000.
Silence.
How much do you have?
Not enough for both.
What happens if he doesn't get the transfer?
Well, I mean, it's a new hard drive, so it'd be new.
Would he remember who he is?
I don't know how to answer that.
Would he remember me?
I know this is hard to understand, but he isn't alive. His memories, his thoughts, they're just ones and zeros.
So, no.
Silence.
Very well.
Rusty.
This is what I've come here to do.
No, Rusty, you came here to not die. This is suicide.
Suicide would be foregoing an upgrade. This way, I will live.
It's not the same. It won't be you.
I am grateful that you think so highly of me.
We can come up with the money for a transfer. It's not too late. We just need a little more time.
Actually, it's astonishing that this unit has lasted as long as it has.
Haley is broken. She cries. The Wiz is uncomfortable. Without thinking, Rusty pets Toby.
It's your decision.
Thank you.
Rusty looks down and sees Toby lick his hand. He and Haley's eyes meet. Exterior Outback, Australia day. Haley rides a mountain bike through the outback with Toby in a cart behind her. Kangaroos hop out of her way as she makes her way up to a steep gorge. She dismounts and takes off her backpack. She pulls out her father's urn. Taking a deep breath, she dumps the ashes over the edge. The wind picks them up and carries them away. Haley smiles. Tied around her neck is a memory stick.
The end. Woo! Yay!
Yay!
Good job, you guys. Okay, cool. So that was Obsolete by Nathan Warren. Nathan, thank you again for sharing your script with us. We're now going to just go through and ask each of our table readers if they have any feedback. So let me see here. Starting at the top of the list with Eric. Eric, did you have any thoughts on the script you'd like to share?
I was hoping the Terminator was going to come in midway.
So it was a disappointment.
No. I have no strong opinion one way or the other.
No worries. Do you want me to move on to the next person then? That's all you have to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, moving on now to Frog. What did you think?
Cool. Overall, I liked it. I would like to thank Nathan, the writer, for sharing the script. It was a fun read. You created a nice, like, cool world, which was, uh, really fun, and it was really fast paced as well. Like things went from point E to point B to point C to point D to the end, like pretty flawlessly in terms of structure and outlining. A couple of notes that I have that are particular was like the first two acts, especially the tone, sort of shifted a lot. Sometimes it felt like a kids' movie. Sometimes it was like more dark. Sometimes the dialogue had like a lot of subtext and was like mumblecore. Sometimes the dialogue was really on the nose, and the beats came really suddenly. So I think you could like clean some of the bit up. Like things change direction really quickly, and I think if you just give some more breathing space in the like turn of the acts, I think that would help a lot. But the third act is really solid. I really like that. It was really interesting, and the thematic messages was there, and overall it was uh, really good. So thanks for sharing.
Awesome. Thanks, Frog. Moving on now to Juxtapose. What were your thoughts on the script?
I really enjoyed this read. And I also want to thank Nathan for writing the script. Nice job. I did have some concerns where a lot of the actions of the characters, as well as the wow, there goes my words. Bye. It's a little disjointed here and there. Because it would be like one part someone's doing something, and then on the other side is something else that doesn't correlate to that. I can't give a definite example. I'm not good at this. But overall, I really did enjoy the characters, Rusty and Haley. Although Haley made me angry a few times, but then she, basically a 16-year-old teenager. Actually, there was a line where, Rusty addresses her actions in regard to Brian, where, she's like, you are an adult. And I'm not going to be, dismantled because of a teenage crush. I'm on the half and half side of that statement, because I'm like, of course, 16 is seen as an adult, but then it's like you then add the teenage. So were you trying to, I guess, address the behavior as such? Like it's not anyway. Let me just move on. I enjoyed the script. It's pretty good for what you got so far, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm just gonna stop myself. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jux. And I think we all had the same thought about the "you're an adult" comment. I saw a couple other people mention that in chat, so that was a good thought. Moving on to Cheddar, who is wiping tears from his eyes. Cheddar, did you have any thoughts you'd like to share?
I'd like to thank Nathan for submitting the script. I really enjoyed this one. And I agree with what Frog was saying, but just overall, just the story and the characters had so much complexity, and the kind of subtle way in which it lines up with the Wizard of Oz in a lot of ways, which makes me want to just go ahead and read the whole thing again. So it's one of those things, where you don't get it all the first time. And yeah, I just really liked everything about it. There was one thing that I did make a little note of that was on page 97, I think it was. That the one robot, Hydra, I think. Hang on, I have to find it. There was the robot who could only speak in phrases, as it was put in the Echidna, yeah. And I mean, doesn't everyone speak in phrases? Like, I understand what it meant, but I think that needs to be reworded because it doesn't really make sense. Like speaks in common phrases, or I don't know. I can't think of a better way to word it, but just phrases doesn't really work. And the other thing that stood out to me was there you go, pre-programmed or pre-recorded phrases. Anyway, the junkyard lady just kind of disappeared. She was like the Esther. She was like the antagonist throughout the whole first half of this thing, and then she just kind of disappears. And I mean, on the one hand, I get it. It's like a journey kind of thing where like, the background characters kind of change, but at the same time, it's kind of disappointing to have this, this antagonist set up and then just kind of gets dropped, and it's never really wrapped up in a satisfying way. I thought the whole storyline with her, but that was about it. Everything else, I just really enjoyed. So thank you.
Thank you, Cheddar. Moving on now to the noblest of Pop Tarts. What were your thoughts on the script?
Well, first off, thank you for submitting it. And I thought it was quite a good read. I did like the characters. I didn't find, sorry, I hit my microphone. I didn't find Haley to be as insufferable as some others. I think she was very much a teenage girl. Although she did seem to be a bit stupid at points, to the point of wondering why she was written that way. The only real gripe I had was the relationship with Brian. It escalated and then stopped and then re-escalated, and then he died in such a short amount of time. It was awkward to listen to for me personally, and I don't know if anyone else felt that way. But it was like Haley is crazy in love with him and he doesn't seem interested, and then he's a robot, and then once he admits he's a robot, he acts like he likes her, and then he's dead, and she's just moved past it by the end. So it's odd, and the imprinting thing I didn't really get. But besides that, I thought the script on a whole was really good. And I did like the nods to the Wizard of Oz, and I liked the idea of the cannibalizing colony, and I think all the characters have their unique little ticks. So, really good script. That was just my one thing.
Awesome. Thanks, Pop Tart. And last but not least, Tintin, who played Rusty. What were your thoughts on the script?
I also played Lout 1. Thank you very much. So Nathan, thank you very much for submitting the script. I was really excited when Smish posted the logline, because that is I think your core premise here is a really good one. It can be a really solid road trip movie. I am now going to go a little more to the negative. I think it needs some restructuring. And I'll say, basically, whether you want to make it for a younger audience and you take out the cussing and Brian suddenly dying, and you can, and the scene with the robots in the woods, you could turn it into like a PG movie, or you could make it a little harsher and turn it into a PG-13 movie. But I think either way, you need to pare down and focus, because you have a lot going on in the story and the world, and some of it is good for the world building and some of it just distracts, and you need to find the balance between those two. And I don't want to go too long and talk about everything on my mind, so I'll just give a brief one way you could do it. Absolutely not the only way to do it, just the way I was kind of seeing it play out in my head as we read, which is, I think you need to take the third act and spread it out over more of the script. And the way I would do that would maybe be to have, say, maybe have Hydra be like an emulator and have her kind of take Brian's place, or maybe just have Brian sort of take Hydra's place, and have him be connecting with Rusty to try and purposefully direct him to the colony because he used to be Cerberus, and get him back. And then as they journey, sort of these things, more and more secrets from his past come up. And then I think you need to extend the third act, because as it is, it kind of goes real fast from they get there and then boom, everything's evil and running away. So I would focus a little more on the journey, and I would stretch out the reveal and the foreshadowing, and maybe cut out some of the smaller stuff, like when Esther comes back, she sends TJ after them again. I don't know, that can probably be cut. Some of the stuff with Brian, I think, could be cut unless you do other thing. But in general, I think you need to the core thing I'm saying is it needs to be focused more. Because again, it's a very solid premise, but it just meanders too much, kind of like a road trip. Rusty, I loved him so much, not just because I played him, but he just had so many good lines. I loved him as a character. He was my favorite. Haley, I also thought was kind of dumb, but Rusty honestly made up for it because he was such a gem. So I'll stop there. Thank you so much for submitting and for writing in the first place. I hope you go very far places with the script, and that Pixar or someone picks it up to make it for you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tintin. Nathan was just saying he used this script to get into grad school.
I saw.
Congratulations on that. And I definitely think you should submit it to other stuff after you give it a little polish. Hopefully our table read will help you with that.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go
just
ahead.
One more very tiny thing. Just break up your action lines a little bit. It just gets a little hard to read. That's all. You've got some that run on for 5 or 6 lines. If you can, break them down to 2 or 3, that'd be nice.
Oh, that's right. That also really grinded Frog's gears. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, cool. So that is the end of today's show. Thank you again, Nathan, for submitting your script. I really hope the table read helps you. If anyone else is listening and you'd like us to do a table read of your script, it's absolutely free. Just go to twitchtablereads.com. We take shorts, TV pilots, and features, and we'll be back next Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific. So that's it for our show. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Pay us in chocolate!